your News 5 forecast first from the First Alert Storm Team. Brought to you by Green & Phillips Injury Lawyers.
5 o'clock on our Tuesday. It's been another gorgeous day. Started off with a few clouds and now crystal clear skies as we are approaching sunset. At Gulf Quest Museum, current temperature is 60 degrees, and we'll keep your skies clear as we head into the evening, but temperatures will tend to fall off pretty quickly. In fact, 30s tomorrow morning. We'll talk about the week ahead, also looking ahead to a chance of strong storms by the weekend. Your news at 5 starts now.
WKRG News 5 starts right now with breaking news.
Hi, everyone. I'm Peter Albrecht.
And I'm Devin Walsh. Thanks for joining us tonight. We begin with breaking news. 28-year-old Donald Crocker is charged with 2 counts of murder and 1 count of assault after leaving the scene of a deadly accident last month. Crocker is accused of crashing his Jeep on US 45 south of Citronelle around 3 in the morning on December 14th. 2 people died in that accident.
The vehicle left the road, hit several trees, and overturned. 2 of the 5 occupants were ejected. 43-year-old Curtis Miller and 21-year-old James Toomey were killed, and 2 others were injured.
2 cities, 2 murders, and in both cases, the suspects are still out there.
The first shooting happened last night in Mobile. Then just a few hours later, another shooting in Saraland, and that's where we will begin tonight with News 5's Nicolette Schleitzman.
Peter, we've been asking for details on the first homicide here of 2020 all day long, but Saraland police right now not releasing a lot of information. News of a shooting moved around the neighborhood surrounding Abba Drive.
Nothing has ever happened like this here on this street.
Saraland police say they got a call about gunshots coming from inside a home on Abba Drive Monday night. When they got there, they found a man had been killed.
Yeah, I reckon you would say it was shocking, but it just happens.
Police say he had been shot multiple times. One neighbor tells News 5 he heard about 4 or 5 gunshots.
There was a victim who was followed home. That's what, you know, we've been told, that they were followed home and then they were shot.
Several neighbors tell News 5 the victim had not lived on the street very long. Police haven't released the name of the victim or his age.
Everybody knows about everybody, so we don't bother nobody.
And police have not yet released if they have someone in custody or if they have a suspect in mind. As soon as we find out any new details, we'll update you right here on WKRG News 5 as well as WKRG.com. Reporting live in Saraland, Nicolette Schleitzman, WKRG News 5.
Thanks, Nicolette. And as we mentioned, another deadly shooting, this one just hours earlier in Mobile. It happened about 7:30 last night on Hercules Street off of MLK Avenue. We now know the victim in the shooting was 55-year-old Willie Marshall. Police have not identified any suspects. Those with our News 5 app were the first to learn about these breaking news stories. Download the app for free to stay on top of things across the area. It is free and available for Apple and Android devices.
Police have arrested one of the teenagers involved in a fight at Pensacola's Cordova Mall over the holidays. Pensacola police arrested 19-year-old Trenton Newkirk and charged him with fighting in a public place and disorderly conduct. A warrant for the same charges has been issued for 18-year-old Keandre Mathis. If you know where he is, please call Pensacola police. A bank robber is on the run in Northwest Florida. Take a look. The Escambia County deputies say this guy wearing an Auburn sweatshirt robbed the Synovius Bank on 9 Mile Road and University Parkway just before 11 a.m. He was wearing an Auburn shirt and camo hat. If you have any information, please contact the Escambia County Sheriff's Office.
Construction is ongoing to improve traffic flow on Highway 181 near I-10 in the Eastern Shore Center in Baldwin County. The work started a few months ago on a diverging diamond interchange, but today is when drivers really started experiencing some slowdowns. WKRG.com mobile journalist Blake Brown is in Malbus, where traffic was down to 1 lane today.
Yeah, a lot of drivers probably noticed how slow the traffic was moving today on Highway 181 from 9 until 4 today. That's when crews were working on the northbound inner lane here along Highway 181. Alabama Department of Transportation crews first started construction last year on the exit ramp and interstate on-ramp, but now work is starting right here on 181. AlDOT says there will be alternating lane closures over the next few months from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. each day. Of course, that means more traffic traffic congestion here in Malbus. In the meantime, AlDOT posted this video Monday showing how the diverging diamond will work. We've seen this in the past, but with construction amping up, it's a big change coming here to the Eastern Shore. It's not something yet seen in the state of Alabama, but it's a concept that's been used in other parts of the country, including here locally on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. A Facebook page has been created to keep drivers informed of those lane closures during the construction process because, again, these closures will be alternating over the next few months. The best advice if you have to commute through this area anytime soon, be sure to check that page for updates. We have a link posted to that Facebook page on our website. Also, you can see the full video right now at WKRG.com. In Malbus, I'm Blake Brown, WKRG News 5.
About an hour west, drivers have been using a diverging diamond for several years. I'm Katerina Lukatich in D'Iberville, Mississippi. Coming up tonight, I'll give you a first-hand look on how to navigate through the diamond and what it's meant for traffic in this area.
Well, another beautiful day here along the Gulf Coast, but I guess all good things have to come to an end at some point.
All right, let's check in with our chief meteorologist, Ed Bloodsworth. And Ed, maybe some rough weather ahead this weekend.
Yeah, it looks like we're looking about 4 or 5 days down the road. Between now and then, actually, we're going to put together some pretty nice weather. A little bit of a chill in the air, though, as you head out this evening and through the overnight period as well. Current temperature 57 in Mobile and Fairhope. That number is going to start dropping pretty quickly now that the sun is setting. It's 62 at Dauphin Island, current number of 60 in Pensacola, 62 in Navarre, and that's what we're seeing generally over the entire southeast. A little bit of a cooler air mass thanks to a weak cold front that moved through this morning. It's now situated off to our south. High pressure is building in from the west, so that should keep our skies nice and quiet for the next couple of days. Overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning, as I mentioned, temperatures dropping a little bit below average. We'll wake up to 36 in Mobile tomorrow, 35 at Calvert, 40 at Pensacola, 41 in Gulf Shore, so I do think you'll need the jackets as we start off the day tomorrow. We are talking about that chilly night ahead, warmer temperatures, but now it looks like we will likely be weather aware on Saturday. There is going to be a pretty decent threat of some strong storms, some of them severe. We'll talk more about this severe weather threat, talk about the impacts and the latest on the timing coming up in just a few minutes from now.
All right, thanks, Ed. At least 56 people were killed and more than 200 were injured after a stampede broke out at the funeral for a top Iranian general killed by a U.S. airstrike. With the war of words between the U.S. and Iran already at heightened levels, the militaries of both countries are now making preparations in case they're called to action. President Trump defended his decision to target Iranian General Qasem Soleimani, calling him a terrorist.
He was a monster. And he's no longer a monster. He's dead.
The president says Soleimani was preparing for more attacks on Americans.
He was planning a very big attack and a very bad attack for us and other people, and we stopped him.
Iran has vowed revenge for the killing, and Pentagon sources called Iranian military movements, quote, very troubling.
Our top priorities remain, first, the safety and security of American personnel and our partners, and second, our readiness to conduct operations to respond to Iranian aggression.
The U.S. military is moving more assets, including B-52 bombers.
The United States is not seeking a war with Iran, but we are prepared to finish one.
Trump administration officials are beginning to brief members of Congress about the president's decision to launch the strike and its repercussions.
We need answers to some crucial questions, and there are many. Here are the two that are most on Americans' minds. What are Iran's most probable responses to the strike on Soleimani? And are we prepared for each of these responses?
Democrats are considering war powers resolutions to try to limit the president's ability to take military action against Iran. A new Iranian general has already assumed Soleimani's role as head of Iran's expeditionary force, which answers only to Iran's supreme leader and oversees Iran's ballistic missile program.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says he has the votes to start President Donald Trump's impeachment trial as soon as Speaker Nancy Pelosi releases the documents, winning support from GOP senators to postpone a decision on calling witnesses. Republicans are expected to swiftly acquit the president of the charges, but Democrats say fresh evidence, including former White House National Security Advisor John Bolton's willingness to testify, only increases pressure for new witnesses and new documents.
Yeah, whatever it is, it's a hoax. The impeachment is a big hoax. It's become a laughing stock all over the world. There was nothing done wrong. The 2 articles that were sent are not even serious. And by the way, they're not a crime.
Who ever heard of a trial without witnesses and documents? It's unprecedented. But if you're afraid of the facts, if you're afraid of what would come out, if you want to cover it up, even in something as weighty and serious as impeachment, you say no witnesses and no documents.
With a 53-seat majority, McConnell has only loose control over the impeachment proceedings, where decisions on witnesses or documents can be made with a 51-vote majority.
24 Australians are accused of intentionally setting fires as the devastating brush fires continue to rage across that continent. According to the New South Wales Police Force, 24 people are charged with deliberately setting fires, and 159 others are facing legal action for committing brush fire-related offenses like discarding a lighted cigarette or a match on land. Those found guilty of intentionally starting a brush fire could face up to 21 years in prison. Dozens of celebrities have donated millions to help fight those fires in Australia. Chris Hemsworth, Kylie Minogue, Nicole Kidman, Pink, and Russell Crowe joining a growing list. The drought-fueled fires have been raging since September. So far, 25 people have been killed and more than 2,000 homes destroyed and nearly $500 million wildlife killed or displaced. There are several places to donate to help fight these fires. To find out more, visit our website, WKRG.com.
A 6.5 magnitude earthquake struck Puerto Rico before dawn today, becoming one of the largest in a series of quakes that have struck the U.S. territory in recent days. A tsunami alert was initially issued for Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands, but later canceled. The quake caused heavy damage in some areas and an island-wide power outage.
When they start believing in themselves, they know that they can do everything.
A special Golden Apple Award tonight. We start 2020 with 2 deserving teachers with the program Project Search.
We'll tell you about the project and how these teachers are changing lives next on News 5.
Plus, what's the ideal job for 2020? We have the list, and healthcare is once again dominating.
Southern Cancer Center, navigating you from patient to survivor.
The new year. Next, Kelly, Jenna Fisher, and Angela Kinsey. Did you make any resolutions? Learn a new language. That's mine! You legitimately just scared me.
Tomorrow at 4 on WKRG 5.
No matter the Gulf Coast weather, the First Alert Storm Team is working for you. Severe weather, flooding, lightning. We're ready for whatever comes our way, working around the clock. The First Alert Storm Team, the largest team of meteorologists on the Gulf Coast.
There's no place I'd rather be. No place I'd rather be.
There's no partner I'd rather have for Cindy Crawford Home than Rooms to Go. We work with our designers to create stylish pieces, gorgeous room packages, and great looks for every room in your home. We believe you don't have to spend a lot of money to have great style. You just have to know where to shop. Come see what's new from my collection, exclusively at a Rooms to Go showroom near you.
Yeah, my business is growing, and I think it's time for me to start giving my employees what they expect. Healthcare is very important, and they deserve the best benefits. I don't know, though. Is this the right time? They do so much for me. It's only right that I do this for them. Because taking care of business is taking care of my employees.
Now more than ever, Florida Blue offers personalized health solutions for your changing business needs, because no one knows better what you need than someone who's local, like you. Visit your local agent or call for real-time assistance. Good for people, good for business.
521 fugitives have been placed on the most wanted list.
Our job is to bring them to justice.
Cold-blooded execution.
He has every step planned out.
Deep dive on background, social media, check phone records, texts, emails. I want a sweep and full security video in the area. Let's close the net. Put the gun down now!
FBI Most Wanted premieres tonight, 10/9 Central on CBS.
Nominate a teacher that is making a difference in your life at WKRG.com. Golden Apple is brought to you by Riviera Utilities, proudly serving Bowen County communities.
You're watching WKRG News 5, local coverage you can count on, with Devin Walsh, Peter Albrecht, and Chief Meteorologist Ed Bloodsworth. This is WKRG News 5 at 5.
Well, welcome back to WKRG News 5 at 5. Two women go above and beyond to help developmentally challenged students train for a job, and they are tonight's Golden Apple Award winners. News 5's Bill Riles introduces you to these award-winning teachers and the program called Project Search.
Deborah Broom and Christine Wells are special teachers with an unusual mission, and now they're Golden Apple Award winners. They teach these students who are developmentally challenged the things they need to know to get and keep a job.
We have lessons in the classroom on life employment skills, and then they actually get to go out to the floor and they have internships with the departments all over the hospital.
That's right. The program, called Project Search, is run by Mobile County Public Schools with partners Providence Hospital and Mobile Infirmary. The students are graduates who now just need a little help with their job skills.
Watching them see that they can become who they're meant to be. And sometimes they don't know that right off the bat, but when they start believing in themselves, they know that they can do everything.
Project Search has proven to be a real winner, not only for these eager students, but for the hospitals as well.
It is an absolute joy. You cannot imagine the joy that Project Search brings to Providence. To see them walking through our halls, the smiles, the relationship they've built with our employees is just amazing.
As you can imagine, there are many jobs at the hospital that require various skill sets and knowledge. Teachers like these make sure their students are up for the challenges, not only in the hospital, but in the community as well. Our congratulations to Deborah Broom and Christine Wells and Project Search for a job well done. In Mobile, Bill Riles, WKRG News 5.
Super space mice are coming back to Earth. The rodents are riding on a SpaceX Dragon cargo spacecraft that was docked at the International Space Station for a month. NASA scientists sent them up there for a series of experiments studying muscle and bone loss. 8 of the 40 mice are so-called mighty mice that have been genetically engineered to give them twice the muscle mass of normal mice. The Dragon capsule contains about 3,600 pounds of experiments, including worms, plankton, and crystals. Facebook is banning so-called deep fake videos. The company says it will remove videos that have been manipulated by artificial intelligence. These videos can make it appear someone is saying something that person never actually said. It's been feared this technique might be used to try to influence the upcoming presidential election. Facebook's policy to ban deep fakes differs from how it views videos that have been edited deceptively. The company says it will continue to fact-check those videos and label them as false if it's determined they are misleading.
U.S. News and World Report has compiled its list of the best jobs for 2020. Taking top honors is software developer. This year marks a triple crown for the role, which has led the pack for 3 years in a row. But before you send your kids to code camp, consider this. The rest of the top 5 is filled out by jobs in healthcare: dentist, physician assistant, orthodontist, and nurse practitioner are the next best jobs. And the best paying job, it is anesthesiologist, followed by surgeon, and you guessed it, even more jobs in healthcare.
Now, Chief Meteorologist Ed Bloodsworth with your First Alert Storm Team forecast.
Well, good news if you have any Tuesday evening plans. It looks like the weather will cooperate quite nicely out there. Mostly clear skies as the sun is now setting. We're getting a couple of high clouds out there, but not much more than that. Had a weak cold front move through earlier this morning. Temperatures are a little bit cooler than this time yesterday. 60 for the current number from Gulf Quest Museum with a light breeze out of the northwest. Beautiful gradient in the skies as looking from Atmore from the Wind Creek Casino and Hotel, and our Alpha Insurance camera network at Orange Beach showing a temperature of 59 degrees with a light breeze out of the north and northwest. Current spread of temperatures, it's upper 50s and low 60s. That's the general range tonight. 58 at Grove Hill, 60 for Leakesville, Gulf Shores, Pensacola, 57 at Crestview and Jay tonight. And that's where we're seeing over most of the southeast. 60s from Lake Charles to New Orleans, back towards Tallahassee and Jacksonville. Low 50s as you head far enough to the north. These temperatures, yes, a couple of degrees cooler than we were at this time yesterday. Let's look at the air mass, and it's generally about 5 to 10 degrees cooler than we were 24 hours ago. Cold fronts off to our south. High pressure is building in, and this high is going to set right on top of us tonight. That should provide us with a chilly night and chilly Wednesday morning. The upper atmosphere is very dry. That drier air will keep our skies mostly clear through the night and through most of the day tomorrow as well. Long range, though, we are looking at a change. This is a big trough in the upper atmosphere that's now moving into the Pacific Northwest, and this is actually the beginnings of what's going to be our threat of severe weather for this upcoming weekend. But tomorrow, no chance you'll need that Green and Phillips umbrella, as we're expecting lots of sunshine. Crystal clear at 9 p.m., 46, 40 at 7 a.m., and we'll get to a high around 62 degrees, maybe a couple of fair weather clouds late in the day. That chilly start expected tomorrow, high pressure in charge, but then on Thursday we'll get into that southerly wind flow that'll help to boost your temperatures, but it will also help to increase the humidity. I'll leave rain out of the forecast for the most part Thursday, but Friday, thunderstorms will start to move in as that warm front moves in, but Saturday is going to be the time frame that we're watching in particular as that cold front moves out of the southern plains. On Friday, the main severe weather threat is off to our west, but then it's Saturday. As this draws closer, the atmosphere is going to be in a position where we could see some strong to severe thunderstorms. The exact timing we still have to iron out, but it is looking like multiple weather hazards, maybe damaging winds and possibly a threat of tornadoes this upcoming weekend. And then between now and then, temperatures will warm up quickly. So tomorrow morning we'll start off in the mid-30s, but highs will actually jump into the 70s by Thursday and Friday. And then again, it looks like we're going to have to be weather aware on Saturday now. Again, confidence is really increasing that we will have some strong storms in the area for the first half of the weekend.
All right, but the rain begins on Friday.
Yeah, we'll have some storms Friday. I don't think we'll see much severe weather, but it's Saturday when those storms could get a little bit rough.
All right, thanks, Ed. Two men turn in a $100,000 lottery ticket in Mississippi. One big problem, though, it's a fake. How these two masterminds tried to trick the system, coming up next.
Nominate a teacher that is making a difference in your life at WKRG.com. The Golden Apple is brought to you by Mobile County Sheriff's Office, keeping Mobile County safe.
Riviera Utilities proudly serves Baldwin County. We make it a priority to be involved in the communities we serve through volunteering and sponsoring local events. We are proud to call Baldwin County our home.
Design Gallery by Swift Supply is now open. This one-of-a-kind showroom will help you turn your house into your dream home. Let our designers help you create the perfect space.
To have a design space where people can come to a showroom is such a past due need for the Eastern Shore.
Our team can review your floor plans and feature your designs through the Design Gallery virtual experience so you can quickly envision your new project. Design Gallery by Swift Supply. Built to last.
Riviera Utilities proudly serves Baldwin County. We make it a priority to be involved in the communities we serve through volunteering and sponsoring local events. We are proud to call Baldwin County our home.
Watch Gulf Coast CW over the air on channel 55.1 and these other providers.
Are you looking for a rewarding, fast-paced career? Do you want to make a difference in your community? Have you been searching for an opportunity to advance your career? This is Sheriff Sam Cochran, and I invite you to join our team with the Mobile County Sheriff's Office. Go to teamsheriff.org to see what exciting opportunities we have to offer.
I'm Jared Irby with IrbyBuys.com, and I want to buy your house. I'll make you an as-is cash offer on your house within 24 hours. Whether it's a total fixer-upper or in perfect condition, IrbyBuys.com is the easiest way to sell your house. When you sell your house to IrbyBuys.com, there's no commissions, no fees, no banks, and no repairs. Just go to IrbyBuys.com for a free, no obligation, instant offer 24 hours a day. That's IrbyBuys.com.
Two people have been arrested after cashing in a fake lottery ticket in Mississippi. The two men tried to cash in a $100,000 ticket in Jackson. When they tried to claim the prize, officials knew something wasn't quite right. They say they scanned the ticket, which did not match a winner, but the numbers on the ticket were correct, and that's because they were glued on.
And it was not a winning ticket. The only thing that made it a winning ticket was they cut some numbers off a second ticket and super glued them to this one. I don't know how they expected to pass this ticket off. It was not a good job.
Now, once they confirmed the ticket was a fake, lottery officials called police and stalled the culprits until officers arrived and arrested them. They now face up to 25 years in prison.
All right, as we go to break, let's take a live look at traffic on the Mobile Bayway. Looking pretty good tonight. You're watching News 5, local coverage you can count on.
Fajitas are now on Beef's 2 for $20 menu.
And must be popular.
What gave you that idea?
Beef's 2 for $20. Now with steak, shrimp, and chicken fajitas. 2 entrees plus a starter or dessert. Still $20.
WKRG.com. Get more than what you see on TV. A full team, only online, only on our app. Unique, original, faster. WKRG.com. More local coverage you can count on.
I'm 52, but in my mind, I'm still 25. That's why I take OsteoBiflex to keep me moving the way I was made to. It nourishes and strengthens my joints for the long term.
OsteoBiflex, now in triple strength plus magnesium.
Heavenly hand cream.
Heavenly hand cream? My hands get so dry and cracked, I need serious relief. That's why I use O'Keeffe's Working Hands. It's America's #1 selling hand cream for guaranteed relief of dry, cracked hands. Thanks to O'Keeffe's, I got my hands back.
That's impossible.
Hi, I'm Jonathan, a manager here at Colonial Penn Life Insurance Company, to tell you it is possible. If you're age 50 to 85, you can get life insurance with options starting at just $9.95 a month. Just $9.95 a month for Colonial Penn's #1 most popular whole life insurance plan. There are no health questions to answer. Your acceptance is guaranteed. And with this plan, your rate is locked in for your lifetime, so it will never go up. Call now for free information. You'll also get this free beneficiary planner. It's our way of saying thank you just for calling. So call now.
Call 1-800-248-8072 now for your free information and your free gift. That number again is 1-800-248-8072. Call now.
Tummy trying to tell you something? Like it's Beef O'Brady's Tacos on Tuesday? Get 2 tacos with chips and salsa, just $5.99. Plus kids meals are $1.99. All kids, all Tuesday long at Beef's.
Hembry Heating and Air, keeping you cool, cozy, and comfy since 1969.
Well, today the nation salutes those little figurines that never tell you no, because it is National Bobblehead Day.
The day recognizes all those spring-connected head-bobbing figurines, first developed, by the way, in Germany. It wasn't until the 90s that the nodding toys really gained notoriety here in the U.S., and that's when professional sports teams began using them as promotional items. There is even a National Bobblehead Hall of Fame and Museum in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
I think we need one at Ed Bloodsworth.
Just looking at the video just makes you naturally want to do this.
We need one of you. Thanks for joining us, everybody. The CBS Evening News is next.